Greetings, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Behind the Wheel podcast. You're with your host, Jordan, founder and CEO of GenPhysio. And today we have the pleasure of Jana coming in and being our guest as an exercise physiologist and one of our team managers. Welcome to the show, Jana.
Thank you, Jordan. Pleasure to be here.
And I just found out when we're in the pre-recording room that he's engaged and dropped down on one knee in New Zealand only a couple of weeks ago. So congratulations as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's an exciting time for me, for sure.
And you didn't drop the ring as you got down? Yeah, a lucky man, of course. You didn't drop the ring when you got down on one knee in New Zealand. It's a bit, a lot of mountains, a lot of wind over there.
Yeah, I was trying to look for the right moment to sort of do it. And there were a lot of obviously beautiful lookouts in New Zealand.
Yes.
But we were on sort of a busy trail. So every time I thought, oh, this might be my opportunity, I'll go and try and sneakily grab the ring. Some people would rock up. So we'll move on. And hopefully there's a better spot even.
So you didn't want a range of people applauding you and cheering as you wanted to be a bit more private? Yeah. Definitely. I'm okay with an audience, but I know my wife would be not impressed if there were too many people cheering and applauding. So you got it, and you got it done. And she said yes as well.
Yeah, thankfully. Yep.
Excellent.
A pretty sad story.
That's it. The podcast might be postponed if it wasn't. So look, congratulations as well, and great to have you on the pod today as one of our EPs and leadership team members. So exercise physiology, I'd like to know, or I'd like to have you share a little bit about your interest in that space. Where did that career pathway come for you? Where was that first moment where you said, hey, becoming an accredited exercise physiologist and EP, that would be a great profession. That's where I'd like to go. Tell me, what was that moment in your life before going down uni where you're like, yep, this is it?
Yeah, I've always had such a sort of attraction to physical activity and movement and sort of how that made me feel, observing people around me, especially a lot of the adults in the community that I lived in. Not many people were sort of physically active. So I guess I connected two and two with my personal interest and then what I saw around me, and sort of observed that there would be a bit of a niche area potentially. I think initially I was kind of more just wanting to learn a lot about it myself. And then as I went, I started to really feel like I wanted to share that with other people. Yeah.
There's a passion about human movement and understanding the physiological sciences behind it. And so you were a sports fanatic. Did you have exposure to EPs growing up, or just really interested in sort of the human science of human movement and what careers could be a pathway for you in that space?
Yeah, I mean, initially I had worked with a few physios because I had an experience with some chronic back pain following an injury from acrobatics of all things.
Wow. So doing some somersaults and backflips into the foam pit, or what's going on there?
We used to just do it on the grass. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had a little group who would go out during lunch break and try to do flips and different movements. Yeah. And occasionally you land a little bit funny. And I think that happened. Yeah. My back was sort of in pain for a few years after that and kind of recurring. Wow. Yeah. And the physios that I saw, I guess at the time, they didn't really give me a very clear process or answer for how I could get out of that. So I guess that was another part of what sort of motivated me to learn more about it myself, so I could understand what was happening and, how I could help myself in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, great. Well, I guess you got to learn to help yourself, right, before you can help others. And that's always a good approach. Although being a physio myself and, being an EP, sometimes we need a clinician, a coach. We need to be held accountable to our own rehab, to our own exercise, to our own needs. But definitely understanding what you need to do is really critical as well. But we also know, and we'll get onto that throughout the pod, how important it is to have that accountability, have that support, and have that person there to guide and lead you through it, even if you know what you need to do. Great. Okay. So sports in general, just off the cuff, what was your top sports growing up?
I think soccer was my number one go-to.
Yeah.
And then I got sort of more into that, like acrobatics and parkour and all those sorts of things.
Ah, right, parkour, here we go. So you're
Yeah.
on filming YouTube
You can see why I
videos,
hurt my back.
jumping from yeah, from, what is it, one fence to another and
Yeah,
doing
we
all
used to
things
play
like
like
that?
tag and just be like jumping off everything to escape and, learning to
Okay.
roll and, try to do it,
That
reasonably
was
safe.
popular, really popular, what, like,
Yeah.
pre-COVID, I'd say? Yeah, maybe like 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago even. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
huge. Okay.
But more
So there you
recently,
go.
I've sort of been, yeah, I experienced some Aussie rules in football, some touch rugby league.
Was you playing foot?
I was,
Good. Yeah, I played my whole life. It's
oh,
great
awesome.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good
Uh,
fun and
yeah.
so good for your aerobic, like,
Oh,
fitness.
that was
Insane.
always my challenge. I was a sprinter, quick over short distances, but
Yeah.
you had to work on your aerobic capacity, your long distance. Otherwise, you're going to run into bad times on the AFL Oval. You'll get tired very quick.
And that's what I realized as well, had sort of that breakthrough. Okay, you've been focusing on strength for way too long. Maybe time to get a bit of aerobic fitness
Switch it
going as
up.
well. So yeah, that was good fun. But it did lead to another injury. So I sort of thought maybe I'll have to
We're
shift
only
away from
human.
that and keep it a little more relaxed. So now I'm
So
like just running and gym fitness.
yeah, nice. And look, that's similar to a lot of us, especially as you get older. Yeah, for me, it's yeah, social, maybe paddle tennis or pickleball, or but it's
Oh, so
really
good.
yeah, running and gym is pretty much like the main things that yeah we get into. Um, okay, great. So you've gone through your degree as an EP. Did you do a bachelor's? Did you do masters? What was your sort of next take from there? You wanted to be an EP. Where did you end up going, and how did that route look for you?
And so I was sort of living on the Gold Coast at the time. So Griffith was probably my best option. So I went to do the Bachelor of Exercise Science, which is what they had at the
Yep.
time. They didn't have direct pathways. It was, yeah, exercise science. And then you can either branch to physio or EP. So I did that undergraduate degree
Yep.
and then did the postgrad of exercise science, which is the exercise physiology route.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
How many
was,
years was that? And just take us because some of the audience wouldn't
yeah.
know how it all works. The accredited EP versus non-accredited. I did a Bachelor of Exercise Science. I went to do my master's in physiotherapy, so there is that route there. But so you did the Bachelor of Exercise Science, and then went into where'd you go from there?
So yeah, the Bachelor of Exercise Science, that allows you to become an accredited exercise scientist. So then
Yes.
from that point, I did the postgraduate diploma of exercise science, which then allowed me to
Yes.
become an accredited exercise physiologist. That was all sort of back to back at Griffith University. It was 4 years all up.
4 years. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Because they have a pretty clear degree now that sort of takes you through from go to woe, and it's all included where you had to apply and sort of match it together
Yeah.
back in the earlier days. Yeah, that's right. Because they'll
Which
take
was
you
kind of
through
good
now.
to like have options as you were going through and like come to the decision at your own pace with, which direction you wanted to go down. I kind of appreciated that personally, but yeah, because I think originally I was
Yeah.
looking into physio too.
Yep.
But then I sort of, as I said, I really wanted to focus on that exercise and the physical activity component
Yep.
at that time. So exercise physiology was great.
So you went down and you did your additional year study, which got you the accreditation. That was through ESSA, and you did
Yeah,
all your practical placements. So Exercise Science and Sports Australia. I hope I got that right. Exercise Science and Sports Australia
I think that's it.
Association, ESSA. Yes. So accredited EP, AEP, and then from there, so fast forwarding a little bit more from that date, coming to GenPhysio, what sparked your interest to be part of the team and being in a community setting, and perhaps just bring the audience up to speed on where you were prior, and then why the sort of the interest and change into a mobile community-based allied health business?
Just prior to beginning at GenPhysio, and I had one other previous community-based job. I was working as a sole trader in a gym, trying to run my own business that way. And I did find that I was really desiring more team sort of
Yeah.
environment.
It's a lonely road, the ABN road. It's very lonely.
Yeah, exactly.
It has a major flexibility, but yeah, it has a downsides too.
Yeah. And I feel like there was so much more for me to learn, and a team environment
Mm,
would be a much more conducive way of sort of achieving that.
yep.
So then I applied for another company that I was at prior to GenPhysio.
Hmm.
They were also community based. And yeah, I did really enjoy that setting. And I realized, oh, this is actually what I like to do. And I also get that
Yep.
team support and the autonomy of being out on the
Yep.
road.
Yes.
Then I moved on to GenPhysio.
Yep.
So I saw it was much better opportunity, and I had that full time capability, which I couldn't
Yes.
get at the previous place. So
Yep.
GenPhysio, yeah, has been really perfect for that, and yeah, sort of helped me develop my skills and become, part of a team environment much more.
Mm, absolutely. And it was fantastic. And obviously going into a leadership capacity now and starting your journey into
Mm.
that realm, which is exciting and challenging and everything else in between in its own right, which is great. So happy to see our team members grow, whether they're coming in as a grad or coming in experience from other allied health providers, and then being able to have that opportunity to progress as well. So,
Mhm.
all right, fantastic. So, community, you got a taste of the autonomy as well as having the team component too. So, you're right, you got a little bit of flexibility on both aspects, which I guess could tie into a little bit what you had in your sole trader environment, getting that independence and autonomy, but also that connection. What would you say would be the biggest highlight for you um, in community? What is the biggest aspects that you do like? Is it that autonomy? Is it the clients that we see, the range of clients? Is it working in certain funding groups? Just, yeah, take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose all of it at once, but yeah, it's really good to be able to see people in their own environment and see how our interventions can actually apply to the life that they lead,
Mm.
and make it very specific to what they're doing. Yeah, I do love the autonomy, the ability to be sort of out and about and sort of not too enclosed.
Stuck in four walls. Yeah,
Four
that's
walls,
right.
yeah, classic.
Yep. Yep.
Although occasional
Hope you
four
got a
walls is
window
good.
at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just being out there, and also that opportunity to reflect between clients during the drive,
Mm, yeah.
sort of
Okay.
decompress and mentally prepare for the next one, I think has been very helpful when you compare it to just sort of back to back
Mm,
sessions in a clinic, and it can be quite, I guess, overwhelming and feel a bit rushed at times. So yeah, there's more time for mental
yeah.
clarity.
There is that advantage that where there's travel in amongst our clients and what we do, that you can actually go over how did that session go, where did it go well, where could it do better, or think about, okay, my next client might be initial, might be ongoing, I'm going to try something different. So you can almost develop a plan and really hit the ground running when you get to the client's next location address. Yeah,
Mm,
that is a huge advantage that we have as well, being in a community setting.
mm.
So great. And being a community EP, you would have a range of different clients. Is there a moment in time where you go, this was a really rewarding part of being an EP, a clinician in the community? You have it maybe a moment where your client achieved something beyond what your expectations, or you just went, this is a really great achievement or rewarding feeling. Have you got to take us through a story like that and
Mm.
one in particular?
Yeah, well, I mean, generally speaking, there's lots of times where people are, so thankful for what you've done and like the difference that they feel it's made on
Mm.
their lives. There was a specific time where I was working with a client in an aged care facility, working on their strength, and they told me about how they were the only person at the aged care facility that was able to get onto their bus independently, whereas everybody else was requiring
Huge achievement.
assistance to get on and off. So, yeah, they felt strong, independent, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was pretty happy about that one.
And in terms of quality life, how important do you feel that is for your clients to achieve that independence, that autonomy, the feeling accomplished, meeting their goals?
Yeah, I mean, it gives them a sense of freedom and ability to choose what they do on a day to day basis, not being constrained by who's there at the time or what devices they have, just
Mhm.
being able to physically do what they need to do. And I think it helps them to develop a lot of well-being and confidence overall.
Well, there's so many different benefits. And that's only they've only listed, yeah, the top of the iceberg, I guess, on the benefits that you can receive from improving mobility, strength, and achieving, I guess, movements that you may not thought you could, or maintaining, I guess, your strength as you age or go through, depending on what condition you have. To maintain strength is really important too. So, the mental health components, do you feel that there's a strong correlation between the exercise therapy and the work you're doing with clients to improve mental health?
I think there's a
Any,
huge connection between exercise and mental health, not only like that confidence and feeling of independence, but just physically the response that, people will get with sort of happy hormones and all those sorts of
Mhm.
things, and the feeling of accomplishment as well. I think people tend to feel a lot better and you sort of see them light up a little bit at times. So yeah, it can be quite huge.
I guess there's positive elements, not just to the client, but what about to family members? What about to others
Mm.
in their life? You know, you mentioned multiple things on feelings of accomplishment and being able to move, getting the happy hormones and better moods. You know, you're also improving the quality of life of the family members or others around them as well. So there's just that holistic approach
You
to
reminded me of actually another
forward.
win recent moment where
Yep.
the client was unable to basically get out of their house because they had to navigate the stairs. So we worked on their strength and their, using the stairs so that they
Hmm.
could visit their family for Christmas. And we got
Yep.
there in the end and they were actually able to do it. So I'm sure the family were pretty chuffed about that, getting to see them after some time.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. I've heard
Yeah,
of
I guess it
stories like
gives.
walking down the aisle too. Sorry, go ahead, Jana.
I was just going to say, it gives the family, opportunity to not have to give quite as much support themselves and have
Mm.
more time to just enjoy spending time with, my client and
Yeah,
that
of
sort of thing.
course. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's some huge change in life if you lose that mobility and then you're needing additional assistance. There's a fear of falls. There's worry and concern from other family members if they're not able to keep and maintain their strength, their mobility. So, it can go pear shaped the other way, which is where us physios and EPs can work really closely together to get great outcomes. I guess we've talked about good moments and the positive aspects of the work that you do and our EPs do. What about a challenging moment, a time where you felt like a little bit at loss, or this is a surprise, or I've really got to dig deep here to figure out what I'm going to do? Could you take the audience through, I guess, a moment in time that you've had with one of your community clients that was real difficult?
Mm.
Or
I
what would
mean,
be something that's popped up for you?
I'm struggling to think of like a specific moment, but there are, as a general rule, there's a lot of challenge when it comes to behavior change. You can have sort of
Mm,
the best idea of what plan you want to give them, what's going to work best for them. And then it often comes down to, the behavior change component, which is very challenging at times.
mhm.
You can't sort of force people to do things if they're not really interested in doing them or sort of believing in them as much as you'd hope. You can try the education and encouragement and all those different things, but sometimes nothing seems to help. When you do make a difference with those ones, though, that can be really hugely rewarding.
So I'm just trying to piece that together. So you feel that your biggest challenge would be client engagement or client compliance when it comes to delivering therapy and the homework involved with that. That's where I'm
Yeah,
taking from
sorry.
that because
Sorry,
that's
I
a
should have
huge
specified a bit
challenge.
more, more better.
No,
Uh,
that's a huge challenge that we all face, regardless of what discipline,
mhm.
backgrounds, what we have. The client compliance is absolute and engagement is key. Is there areas that you feel or tactics that you use to improve engagement or compliance when it comes to the work you're doing with clients? Is there something that you feel is important to help improve that, or what do you
Yeah, I
normally
mean,
try?
there are tools like exercise calendars or ways for them to track their progress so they can see, um,
Okay.
you know, the sort of results in a way,
Mm,
because it helps them to tick the box. I guess that drives the motivation. having a little bit of blank.
Oh, that's right. So, so being able to measure and track progress, right?
And
That's really important.
develop their intrinsic motivation as well by finding out what aspects are important to them, like what are the things that they want to achieve, how does
Mm,
that affect
so
their
goal
life and
setting.
their lifestyle,
Yeah.
so the goal setting type
Yep.
of thing,
Yep.
but in a deeper sense, what aspects of that their life that will achieve, and then breaking that down to sort of process goals, which are
Yeah.
your kind of daily or weekly tasks that are going to move you in that direction. So taking something that might be a huge goal for them and breaking it down into smaller goals as well.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I like that. So the goal setting, then trying to relate to what you're trying to what we're trying to do here, and the benefits of that will help them in areas of their life that they may not be connecting. I guess connecting that too. So, and then once they understand, hey, this is going to help me get up and down those stairs or get on the bus to go out to bingo or whatever it might be, and having that correlation help improve engagement and compliance.
Exactly.
Compliance is a strong word, but
No.
engagement is the more friendlier version, I think. And what about rapport building?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the classic basics with less smarts and science behind it. It's just coming with a smile on your face and being interested and getting that rapport
Yeah. And
with your
sort of
clients.
developing the trust that they can
Mm,
have in you,
perfect.
that you know what you're talking about and that you're on their side as well. Yeah. I think that can be huge.
Yeah, trust element is really important too, because you can go in with these grandiose ideas, plan outcome measures, tracking, performance data, numbers, calendars. But at the end of the day, if you're not going in and just asking how you're going and
Mhm.
how was the wedding that you went to last week, how was your granddaughter or whoever, and showing that little bit of interest and getting that sort of empathy and rapport, then building that trust and that they you're remembered and you do care, then it will flows really well. So yeah, like that. So nothing too crazy moments that you can think of other than just the general challenge that we can have with clients that we're working with and getting that engagement.
Yeah.
So when it comes to EP equipment, interventions, we've all got our little go-tos, from whether it's TheraBands, whether it's, I've heard of a mirror, whether it's certain outcome measure, whether it's dumbbells. What do you find that what's your go-to equipment that you find that you're using quite a lot with your clients and you've gotten really good results with?
Funnily enough, it's probably a chair doing.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that one
They
before.
need a chair for their
It
sit
can
to
be,
stands and doing all sorts
yes.
of exercise on that, having a stable platform. But other than that, I'm big on the resistance bands,
Okay. Yep.
developing resistance from all sorts of different directions and in various amounts. I've
Color
got,
that you use often?
what's that?
Are you finding yourselves around the yellow and reds, or you're up at the blacks, or where are we?
I try not to spend too long on those yellow and reds. I try to get them
Yeah,
fast
they're
as I
pretty
can up to the
yeah.
big boy weights.
Yep, yep. So the audience listening, there's different grades of resistance, and I'd say the yellow and reds are real post-op sort of. You're real got problems. You're weak as anything in that area, but it's common starting point, probably more for the physio aspect than EP when you're building capacity at a higher level. But
Definitely a good place to start for like building the confidence and, seeing how they move with that exercise. But yeah, pretty quick. I try to get them up to those green and
yeah,
blues.
yeah, the green and blues is where you're real building strength. And look, obviously, if you're not dealing with quite acute or chronic pain, you can sort of bring it up a little bit higher and a bit faster. Great. I've had TheraBands. Chair was the first one, and I'm thinking back to my days with clients, and I'm like, you're right. Chair. I love those the chairs that if they've got electric sort of chair, that right recliner chair, it makes life quite easy because you can control where they're doing their sit to stands and build on that with the goal of getting it flat. But then you got benches, tables. I remember anything you can
Yeah,
stand
the
up
kitchen
against. You
bench is
can
a great spot for
kitchen
sure.
bench was
Yeah.
one of my favorites. It was the best. All the balance work up and
Yeah.
down, and yeah, they were great. Had
Particularly
the
good
little
if they have
step.
like an L or an island or something. You can get wedged in between. You've got something to grab onto.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I know all of that, and working in with your client's home environment. You've got to think on your feet and use what's around you. But as you mentioned before, and a big benefit of being in the community is being in the client's home and being able to see how they get around, and you're working with them, and yeah, that's the safety and comfort of their home environment. Definitely a blessing that we have as mobile clinicians over at that brick and mortar setting, where you're kind of interpreting what it would be like at home based on what they've said and working towards that. Whereas we get to be right in their home environment and work with what they've got, which is what they're using every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And see if there's any sort of particularly challenging things like using the stairs, for example. Or if there's safety things around too much clutter or, opening up walkways, depending on what their needs are, if balance is a concern or they're struggling with those stair transfers, whatever it is, it helps with the intervention and understanding their needs. So yeah, it's really helpful.
I guess you get the live demonstration of, can you show me what you're struggling with? Where is that step in the house that you're having? Whereas I guess in a clinic, there is that difficulty to match both, I guess, what it's really like, and then develop your interventions around that. So great. Now we're on to the quick fire round, Jana. Got a few questions here, all related to being a mobile allied health professional in the community. Let's do it. Last little bit. So go to lunch when you're on the road. Do you pack your own lunch? What's your go-to? And if you do, what's your go-to? Or are you, God forbid, you're not a Macca's person? Because I'm sure there are a few are, but at least Subway. But where's your being a health professional here?
It is Subway for sure.
Subway is a good one.
I usually don't get no sauce because those sauces are just like pure fats usually.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
Got to get the sweet onion. It's like the lowest. It's still full of carbs, but yeah, you're right. What's your go-to though at Subway? I don't mind a good sub.
It'd be the falafel on the malted rye with all the salads and no sauce. Pretty
okay. Yeah.
Kind of bland.
That's clean. That's clean eating right there, guys. You heard it from himself. Great. Anything else in Subway if you're not?
Not in Subway, but I'm currently a little bit obsessed with protein bars. So I've been getting the high protein bars from, I think, BSC or whatever that company is.
Body Science.
48 grams of protein per bar. So pretty big.
And they're tasty too these days.
They're good. Yeah.
They are. They're dangerous.
Give it a try.
Dangerously tasty, especially on the road too. You have one of those and it buys you a few more hours.
Yeah. Well, because of all the protein, so filling. Hey. Yeah.
That's true. Coffee order. What's your go-to coffee order? Do you drink coffee? And if you do, what's your regular?
I do drink coffee. I've gone for the dirty chai or the salted caramel latte.
Oh, so you really like the flavors here. So he skims out on the sauces, guys, but he makes up for it in the coffee. So when it comes to
make sure it has to be sugar-free.
Okay, we'll add that one in. Nice. Love it. The old chai. Yeah, that's if I'm having meetings and I've done a back-to-back on, meeting a referral business meeting, the coffee orders turn to chais. Otherwise, you'd be bouncing off the walls. So they're always good ones. Although I never really got around the dirty chais, but they definitely get you going with a bit of flavor too. If it's that. Got
to give it another try.
Floats your boat. Yeah, I think I need to give it another go. Jana's orders. All right. That's it. Favorite playlist or podcast while driving?
I usually just, how I think Spotify has some genres in your library. I usually just put on the relaxing mix.
The spa meditation one. They're the good ones.
Kind of like that. Yeah. A little bit of soul music in there and groovy stuff, but on the slower side,
you're contemplating, how the session went, and you're thinking about the next session.
Yeah.
That's the decompress time.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Okay.
And podcasts. I usually do audiobooks instead of podcasts.
Audiobooks is good.
And just try to find whatever I can that's like evidence-based if possible.
Yeah.
About maybe philosophy, well-being, psychology is a good one as well. And politics occasionally.
You have to be up for it. I won't ask your thoughts on Trump and what's the geopolitical stance between China and US. Maybe that's for a podcast for another day. Just moving on there, phrase you catch yourself saying often in the car or around your clients or team?
I feel like in the car, it's, are you going to let me in? Trying to merge.
That's right. Yeah.
Let me in or what?
You speed up, they speed up. You slow down, they slow down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that problem. Okay. Yep. No, that's fine. It's only, yeah, this is all car related because well, for you guys, it's behind the wheel. A dream holiday destination, but it needs to be a road trip. Dream
Needs to be a road
holiday.
trip.
That's it, behind the wheel.
Probably a road trip along the like Amalfi Coast, northern Mediterranean.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe with a convertible or something.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I can envision that now. You've got the top down, you got the Ford Mustang
Yeah.
convertible, fiance on the side, you got the hair with the scarf around going on the Amalfi Coast. Oh, that's
Yeah.
the dream. Got the driving gloves. Um, you got the goggles too, to make it, yeah, you got eye protection. Yeah. So that's a good one. I like that. Haven't heard that one yet. And just to close out for our podcast today and for the listeners, what would you say one tip you'd give for any new exercise physiologist or clinician in general joining the community? What would be one thing a tip to help them adjust into the world of community?
I would say like the main thing is that come in with a learning mindset and be ready to, fail in small ways and just learn from that process. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't expect yourself to know all the answers, but just be honest with where you're at with things, probably most of all.
So keep an open mind and learn from mistakes aren't failures, but lessons.
Yeah. Well put.
Wise words. No, that's it. That's it. Well, we've got a few new starters coming onto the team. Given it's January and we're all prepping now to make sure they have a great onboarding experience. I'm sure you're going to be able to impart a few words of wisdom as our new GenPhysio clinicians come on board. So
I'm
we'll
doing my
keep that
best.
one
And
there,
yeah,
please.
excited.
Awesome. Well, look, really appreciate having you on the show today, Jana, learning more about yourself. Yeah, your journey is becoming an accredited EP and your time here at GenPhysio and what it's like to be part of a community allied health professional. So thank you very much for your time, your words of wisdom, and we'll finish it up there.
Thanks so much for having me. Cheers, Jordan.
Thank you. Bye for now.
See ya.